customer sentiment analysis is essentially something that many teams have been asking my team and the engineering team to deliver for them for maybe 12 months, kind of since I joined Beauty Pie. And it was always like, yeah, we really want to do it because it would be so interesting, but we don't have time. We don't have to, it's not commercial enough, all this stuff. And so actually what I did, because I knew there was demand there, is say, right, we want to train up our data engineering teams to do all of those connectors, like some of the things that we've been talking about here, to Snowflake or to Figma or to whatever. Why don't we have this as their training use case? So that actually at the end of their training, we say we've also delivered our first custom agent to the business. And so that was kind of how we landed on it and said that's like a really good way to train the team of a couple of people and also deliver some value. The kind of second part to it very much goes back to that theme of efficiency as a trap. And I really believe in it and have learned in going through this onboarding process that you commonly start with like, oh, we could automate this and hey, this would free up time, but freeing up time for what, right? So this use case is very much about incremental delivery, incremental value that people couldn't do before or weren't doing before. This is a room of marketing folks, so everything needs to be about the customer. How do we use agents to bring the customer to the marketing teams, to our NPD teams, to our member happiness teams? And that's where it really started. And it went live a couple of weeks ago. And already it keeps on being duplicated, which is a sign of like, oh, people want to use this and refine it slightly for their own use case. It's a real sign in my mind of strength. Do you want me to run you through it?
I will. I'm just going to check. One of the things that you've just mentioned, which is pretty exciting, is once you build one of these playbooks, you can share them in the organization and people can tweak them. The way this looks for us is my team is running a summary of everything that happened in an account across all of our systems, Gong calls and Omni dashboards and so on. And then one person builds it, they love it, they share it, and everyone says, I like that, but the flavor of it for my account needs this kind of flavor. So I'm going to add a skill in here that calls, something slightly differently. And so I think what you're doing is actually like really at the edge of what we're seeing, which is sharing these playbooks and making that part of the operating system. I would love for you to show us what we're doing.
So the heart of this playbook is very simply that it connects with about 5 different data sources through Snowflake, which is our data warehouse, and essentially gives an individual in the business an ability to interact with that data in like a really simple UI. So the playbook's built so you can kind of refine what you want at the beginning. So I might be coming to it as someone from product development and saying like, I want to know what customers love and hate about our serums. And then I want to know how that compares to the market, for example. So I would go and find all of the agent would say, hey, cool, I'm going to go and find all that information about serums from Trustpilot, from your NPS surveys, from your star ratings, so a range of structured and unstructured data, and pull that to you. This playbook is actually showing like a dashboard as an output because it's kind of nice and visual so people can see it. But you'll see here as kind of we're showing through, essentially, it's like there's a whole bunch of governance built into this agent interaction with Snowflake, which is incredibly important. As Diego was saying, you want to open up the world to creativity, but you need the governance in there too. Otherwise, you're going to get into a world of trouble. That's kind of the heart of the playbook overall.
Who's using the output of this playbook?
So it's being used by all of our lifecycle CRM team. So they're using it to inform a lot of campaigns with quotes in about like the customer. NPD, we source our products from labs. It takes about 18 months to get a product to market. There's a huge amount of research that goes into that process. So they're using the agent for that. Acquisition marketing, it helps them just have better critical thinking time for campaigns. And then also member happiness, which is our customer care. So like, what are the positive and negative things coming through, any kind of early warning signs of something happening in our customer experience. So the point about using an agent to do this rather than just having it in a BI tool is the ability to interact, to ask questions, to dive deeper, to filter. This to be honest, just isn't possible within the existing software tooling that we have. And so like I don't really like talking about this as like a dashboard agent. That's not the point. The point is to be able to pull together structured, unstructured data in a way that a non-technical or non-data person can say, hey, I want to understand this more. Okay, what are the broad trends? Let me go deeper. And so it's like a really like playful environment for many, many teams to come into and understand more about the customer at scale without just like, oh, we had this one great user story. It's like, is that really true? Could we really build a campaign on that?